Palmer again, ole ole. Palmer again, Palmer again, Palmer again, ole ole. Welcome back to Chelsea Godfather channel. Chelsea 3, Liverpool 1. Chelsea 3, Liverpool 1. Palmer again, ole ole. We thank God for Cole Palmer, Cole Palmer. Finally breaking that duck. He hadn't scored since January, and today he finally broke the duck with the third goal against Liverpool 3-1 off a penalty that was won by CAICEDO in the last minute of injury time. And PK aside, right? I mean, Palmer deserved a goal in this game. Palmer deserved a goal in this game, and so I'm sure every Chelsea fan was happy that Palmer finally scored, and it was a beautiful PK. It was the PK that he used to score when he was on form. And prior to scoring this PK, I mean, Palmer was involved in everything that was positive. He was definitely involved in our first goal, right? Our first goal that was again created due to great play by LAVIA in midfield, made what appeared to be a bit of a reverse pass, if you want to call it that. But in reality, what it was Palmer's movement is what I call a spin movement in midfield to lose his marker. That's what actually created an awkward passing lane, an unexpected passing lane for his marker, and opened up the whole field. It was brilliant. It was just brilliant. And you guys already know Palmer in open field is dangerous. He's dangerous. He released the timely pass to Neto, and Neto's cutback cross into the box was just perfect, and it found Enzo in the box. One-time touch with his left foot. It was a perfect way to kill the ball and set it up for his right foot, and he made no mistake about finishing it to the far corner of Alisson's net. 1-0, third minute. Chelsea was off and flying. It was beautiful, guys. It was beautiful. That was it helped us to calm the nerves down, because what Newcastle had drawn. They had drawn points earlier in the day. They had dropped points literally just about, 30 minutes? Roughly about 30 minutes before we, kicked off. Newcastle went away to Amex Field against, Brighton, and they drew 1-1. They actually forced a 1-1 draw. They were about to lose that game. But for Brighton inexplicably some kind of handball in the box. It was silly. And that's how Isak scored a PK to salvage 1 point. So, but hey, we're not gonna get greedy, right? To find ourselves in the position whereby with a win, then we can get tied on points with Newcastle. Not with our standing. It's against Liverpool that had won the league. And so, in fairness to Liverpool, in fairness to Arne Slot, right? They weren't going to play their full best 11, and they did actually make some subs. Guys, please, I have a kid upstairs that just makes lots of some crazy noise, so bear with me. So they did make some subs in midfield, right? They had Harvey Elliott in midfield. They had Japanese player. I mean, I totally forgot his name. They had him at DM. And there's one other player that they had because Arnie always plays 4-3-3. It's another player that they had. I'm missing whoever their third player was. Curtis Jones was the third. So they had Jones in midfield. They had Harvey in midfield and the Asian midfielder that they got from Germany. I totally forgot his name. So, but in any event, they still had Salah at his usual right wing. You guys know Salah is Salah. If he's not scoring, he's going to create an assist. He's deadly. Well, it doesn't matter whether it's preseason, whether it's a dead rubber game, or whether it's a game they actually need. It doesn't matter. Salah will show up to play, but he showed up to play. Cucurella pretty much kept him busy. Gave him made life rough for him, made life difficult for him. They also had Gakpo at left wing, and Jota played 9, and they also still had Trent Arnold at right back, and of course Alisson in goal, Virgil van Dijk. So it was notwithstanding that Arnie didn't make a lot of subs, it was still a very strong Liverpool team, and we had to win. It wasn't a case of just get a result. No, it was a must-win game. So that early goal by Enzo really helped out a lot. It helped to basically calm nerves. And once we had scored the early goal, it was all about just manage this game, right? Because we're at the point at the business end of the season where the result, last, at the end of the day, it's all about the result. And the result is 3 points. Yes, we needed 3 goals to jump these guys. Man, forget we'll worry about the goals at the end of the season. Let's get the 3 points first. That's the way to, think about it. And I'm glad that our players were, focused in terms of reeling in, holding on to the 3 points. Because, make no mistake about it. Liverpool is still a dangerous team, even though they have nothing. In fairness to Liverpool, they have nothing to play for. But pride, proverbial pride, that's all they have. But they're still a very dangerous team. And so, we just kept playing. We just kept playing and trying to hit them on the counter. Most of the first half, and we actually should have had them, just but for silly offsides by Jackson. Jackson was just horrible in this game. Jackson was horrible. He was offsides more than a primary school kid. I'm just at this point. I'm just tired about Jackson. This is one more reason why we need an experienced striker, because I know that even Tariq George, wouldn't have been offside as much as Jackson was in this game. Just think about it, guys. This is just crazy. It's crazy, and that's why we actually made life unnecessarily difficult for ourselves. But notwithstanding, we were able to hold on to the 1-0 lead, and took it to the half. Came out of the half. Tried to see if we could get an early goal, and we did get an early goal again through an own goal by Liverpool, right? And an own goal by Liverpool. It was a clearance that came off the back of their young center back, Kwanzaa. Which Kwanzaa is actually a very good player. I was watching him today. Very, very talented kid. He's definitely gonna be going on places. So, but he was only unfortunately at fault. It wasn't really his fault because he didn't know really much about that ball. It bounced off him and into the back of Alisson's net, and so that gave us the insurance goal that we needed, because this Chelsea team does not keep a lot of clean sheets. That's just the reality. We always knew we were going to need the second goal, and thankfully it came through luck. Let's just be real. We were just lucky. We got lucky with the second goal. But at this point of the season, you just take it. And it turned out that we actually needed it, because after towards the end of the game, I believe like 20 minutes, Arnie then emptied his bench, brought in his heavy hitters, his midfielders. He also brought Nunes in, brought McAllister in, and at a point with about, I believe, 5 minutes left in the game or so, Liverpool won a corner kick, and Virgil van Dijk, who had been getting close, we had not been marking Virgil on previous corner kicks, but he's just been heading it wide. And that, in essence, he gave us enough warning for us to get our acts, together. But we did not learn our lesson. And with this final PK in the 85th minute, it was a classic Virgil van Dijk header in the box, and there was nothing for Sanchez to do in terms of trying to save it. He dove, but he didn't stand a chance. So that was how Liverpool pulled back 1 goal, and with about 5 minutes to go, and what ended up being an additional 5 minutes of injury time. And so, we're able to kind of hold on until late in the game, as I mentioned earlier, when CAICEDO won the PK that then led to the Cole Palmer goal. So right now we are tied on points with Newcastle. They are just marginally in front of us. In fact, we even have the same goal difference with Newcastle as well, but they're just on top of us based on number of goals scored. They've scored more goals than we have scored. Our next game is the massive. Our next league game is the massive away game at St. James Park against Newcastle, and it's do or die. This is it, guys. Obviously, a draw is not necessarily a bad result. It's not. It's not a bad result, right? But we need to get something out of that game. We'd rather win the game. We'd rather win the game than draw the game. But we need to get something out of that game, and it's just gonna be war. And that's all I have to say, guys. How do y'all feel? Share this video, like this video, subscribe to my channel. God bless you guys. Peace.